In Kassel, Germany, at the 2017 Documenta Contemporary Art Exhibition, Argentinian artist Marta Minuhin set out to construct an art piece called the Parthenon of Books.
It's a one-to-one replica of the Parthenon in Athens, and it was supposed to be covered with books that had been or currently are censored.
That was Ubyssey professor Florian Gassner, who was tasked with helping compile the list of books for the project. Him and his team would later go on to turn that list into an online database. They called it Die Kasseler Liste.
Die Kasseler Liste is a database presented on a webpage, and you can search for books that have been censored or banned, or that currently are censored and banned all across the world.
In compiling the list, Gassner and his team had to address what constitutes censorship, what books could be included, what books couldn't, and on what grounds. Sometimes this was easy to determine. For example, the Librorum Prohibitorum, or the Index of the Vatican, was a list of publications that Catholics were expressly forbidden from reading. So naturally, all these books could go on the database.
Then there are more tricky cases. Oftentimes you have books that were not censored per se because they were never even published. In Eastern Germany, officially censorship did not exist, so the political authorities used some more insidious methods to make sure ideas or texts didn't become public, such as the book has been accepted for publication, but the mill ran out of paper, or just a book suddenly disappeared from all of the libraries without there being a direct order to do so.
Another interesting example comes from the United States, where parents pressured school libraries into removing Harry Potter books from their collection, believing it undermined Western and Christian values.
So then we start getting an interesting territory, because is it censorship on the one hand, or is it possibly just parents exercising their right to determine what their children are exposed to? You have to determine it on a case-by-case basis and always include the perspective from which you're looking at it.
Censorship is thus difficult to define, and so a large amount of research goes into tackling each case separately. But censorship can get even murkier when the actions go beyond those of a formal institution, like a government or church. For instance, is Canadian society's previous limited acknowledgement of the residential school system censorship?
Was it censorship that the history of residential schools in Canada did not feature anywhere in Canadian history books? That's the question. Is that censorship, yes or no? Because there was nobody in the background saying, we should not write this down, but there was a social consensus that this is not part of Canadian history.
So given the complex nature of censorship, what does Die Kasseler Liste aim to do?
Well, the database can just serve a simply academic purpose, because people who, like you, I would assume, are still interested in when does censorship occur, can go through it and do some quantitative or qualitative research into what happened in this case or what happened over 100 cases to see how people legitimized censorship previously, or how they fought against censorship, or strategies were put in place to subvert a censorship system that was in place.